Lin Jin was not the first person to open a door. That sentence changed the way everyone looked at the border. The first entry had brought back coordinates, name fragments, and proof that Lin Junyu's third chain remained whole. But it had also brought back something more dangerous than data. It brought back comparison. If Lin Jin was not the first, then someone before him had touched the same kind of threshold. Someone had opened a path into the border, faced the formless tone, and left enough traces for White Prison, the Royal Court, and the Star Masters to build systems around it. Ji Yuxing locked himself in the analysis room for 6 hours. When he came out, his face was pale. There are older door marks under White Prison's structure, he said. No one spoke. He continued. Not one layer. Many. Yu Baishuang sat with one hand on the arm of the white bone seat's projection. Her eyes had lost their usual amusement. The royal court did not create the prison from nothing. No, Ji Yuxing said. They built it over something. Lin Jin understood the rest without needing it explained. White Prison was not only a prison. It was a lid, and the thing beneath it had been touched before. The central delegation immediately tried to tighten control over the new data. Fang Si demanded a restricted review. Zhao Minzheng asked whether the 9th safe zone could guarantee that border entry would not trigger a star tide. Bai Shuyuan smiled through all of it, as if each question had been prepared long before the meeting began. Then the border sealed itself. Every observation coordinate from the first route went dark at once. Not lost, refused. The white prison ship remained in the gray river projection, but its wooden bird would not open its eyes. Xiaoman's keyhole mark dimmed, then flared, then dimmed again. The route line thinned until it looked like a hair about to snap. Ji Yuxing read the system output twice before speaking. The border is under lockdown. Qin Yu frowned. By the Star Masters? Not directly. Shen Qing looked toward Lin Jin. By the formless second tone? Ji Yuxing nodded. It is using the remains of stolen names to seal the outer route. That meant the next entry would not be a careful expedition. It would be a breach. The 9th safe zone prepared under pressure from every side. Central authority wanted supervision. The hospital wanted Xiaoman removed from danger. The reconstruction departments wanted resources secured before another conflict. Ash Base wanted the truth. Lin Jin wanted only one thing. No one would turn his sister into a key. Xiaoman understood that before he said it. Brother, she said in the hospital room. I am not going because they need me. Lin Jin did not answer. She continued. I am going because Dad is still there. He looked at her for a long time. Being brave does not mean you have to walk into every dangerous place. I know. Then why? Xiaoman touched the keyhole mark on her chest. Because this one is calling me too. That answer hurt because it was honest. The breach began at dawn. The white prison ship took form under 7 layers of protection. Shen Qing stood at the forward anchor point, lightning gathering around her like a storm that had learned restraint. Qin Yu stood opposite her, sea force rolling beneath his feet. Lin Jin placed one hand on the deck and opened Mirror Fate sight only long enough to see the false route lines. They were everywhere. The lockdown had filled the gray river with traps. Fake routes. False memories. Names pretending to be coordinates. Cries pretending to be warnings. Lin Jin cut 3 and left 2 untouched. Ji Yuxing noticed. Why not cut those? They are real pain, Lin Jin said. But not real paths. The distinction mattered now. He could not save every pain. He could not answer every name. He could only keep the route alive. The formless second tone sounded from beyond the border. Low and hollow. The river surface trembled. The white prison ship stalled. Then Shen Qing raised her hand. In the first star tide, she had been the one who held lightning like a warning. Now she held it like judgment. If it is sealing the sky, she said, then I will light the sky. Her fate realm opened. Lightning did not fall. It rose. White-blue thunder climbed from the deck of the ship into the gray sky, tearing open the false ceiling of the lockdown. For one instant, the boarder saw daylight. Not real daylight. Memory daylight. The kind that people remembered from before the apocalypse and still used as proof that the world had not always been like this. The formless tone recoiled. The root line widened. Ji Yuxing shouted. Window open. 9 seconds. Qin Yu stepped forward. Then 9 seconds is enough. The sea opened. Not water. Force. A deep blue pressure unfolded beneath the ship and pushed the gray river aside. The false names that had gathered around the hull were thrown back like weeds under a breaking wave. The white prison ship surged forward. Lin Jin saw the lockdown line trying to close around Xiaomin's keyhole. He cut it. Pain tore through his eye. Hot and immediate. But the ship crossed. They entered the sealed border again. This time, the waiting army was not made of star bone beasts alone. Figures stood across the gray wilderness, each wearing fragments of stolen identity. Some had military armor. Some wore review court robes. Some looked like civilians. All had hollow faces. At their center stood something shaped like a person made of black law and starlight. Ji Yuxing's voice came through in a whisper. Star law resonance. Yu Baishuang's hand tightened. No, not resonance. The figure lifted its head. The entire border bent toward it. A star lawbearer, she said. The thing spoke without a mouth. Return the keyhole. Lin Jin raised his blade. No. The star lawbearer turned its hollow gaze toward Xiaomin. Return the ship. Xiaomin stood behind Lin Jin. Pale but steady. No. The gray wilderness answered with movement. Every hollow figure advanced at once. The first wave broke against Shen Qingyi's lightning. Thunder spread across the ground in branching white lines, burning away name hooks before they could reach the living. The second wave met Qin Yu's sea. His power opened a blue trench through the wilderness and swallowed half the front line. The third wave reached Lin Jin. He did not use full sight. Flash. Cut. Flash. Cut. He ignored the lines that begged. He cut the lines that hunted. The star lawbearer watched. Then it raised one hand. Above the battlefield, the dead sky opened into a red prison of flame. Yu Baishuang went still. Red prison. From that burning crack descended a fire that did not warm anything. It erased. Where it touched the gray earth, name fragments burned away. Where it touched star bone beasts, they knelt. Where it touched the root, the silver line turned red. The star lawbearer had brought another prison system into the border. If white prison was a lock of names, red prison was a furnace of punishment. The first red flame fell toward Xiaomin. Lin Jin moved. Too slow. Qin Yu's sea rose first, taking the flame head on. The blue force boiled and cracked, but held long enough for Lin Jin to cut the remaining heat away. Qin Yu staggered. That, he said through clenched teeth, was rude. Shen Qing answered by calling down thunder so bright the battlefield vanished. When the light cleared, the star lawbearer was still standing. Its voice deepened. Unauthorized border crossing. Unauthorized key retention. Unauthorized refusal. Lin Jin laughed once. Without humor. You sound exactly like them. Bai Shuyuan. The review court. The royal court. White prison. All of them had different symbols, but the same root. Obey. And be classified. Refuse. And be contained. Lin Jin opened Mirror Fate sight in focus mode and looked directly at the star lawbearer. Blood ran down his face. He saw the figure's core. It was not alive. It was a law fragment left behind by a star master, wrapped around red prison fire and anchored to stolen names. It was not the true enemy. It was a gatekeeper. Behind it, far beyond the battlefield, the chain tower pulsed. The third chain rang once. Lin Jin heard his father. Not words. A strike. A refusal. Lin Jin adjusted his grip on the blade. Shen Qing. I know. Qin Yu. Already moving. Lightning rose. The sea opened. Lin Jin cut through the center of both. For one breath. Thunder. Sea. And ash blade became a single line. It struck the star lawbearer's core. The red fire cracked. The law fragment split. The gatekeeper did not scream. It simply looked at Lin Jin as if recording his crime. Then it shattered. The battlefield did not end. But the route opened. Beyond the broken army, the chain tower stood closer than ever. And from the top of it, a man's voice finally reached them. Not a call. Not bait. A warning. Do not come straight in. Quote, the warning reached them too late to be comforting. Do not come straight in. Lin Junyu's voice was rough, distant, and wrapped in the sound of chains. It did not carry the warmth of reunion. It carried the discipline of a commander who had survived by refusing every easy road. Lin Jin stopped at once. The white prison ship slowed on the gray river. Qin Yu wiped blood from the corner of his mouth. Shen Qingyi's lightning dimmed but did not disappear. Xiaomin stood near the bow. Both hands pressed over the keyhole mark on her chest. Dad? She whispered. No answer came. Only the tower. The chain tower rose from the border like a wound driven into the sky. 3 chains wrapped around it. 2 were cracked. The third remained whole, dark, and heavy, pulsing with a pressure that made the ship creak. Yu Baishuang stared at the tower for a long time. That third chain is not only binding him. Ji Yu Xingyi's projection trembled in and out of focus. Then what is it doing? Holding something closed. Lin Jin had already opened Mirror Fate sight in short flashes. He saw what she meant. The first 2 chains bound his father's body and fate realm. The third chain ran through the tower, through the border, and into a darkness below it. It was not a prisoner's chain. It was a stopper. If it broke the wrong way, the thing beneath the border might open. That was why Lin Junyue had not answered. That was why he had warned them. The direct route to the tower was a trap built from love. They docked at a broken ring of stone half buried in ash. The white prison ship could go no closer without triggering the tower's defenses. The wooden bird lowered its head toward Xiaomin, then went still. Choice had brought them this far. Now choice required walking. The ground around the tower was covered in old blade marks. Lin Jin recognized his father's rhythm in them. Heavy, direct, every cut aimed at ending a threat before it could become a tragedy. But there were other marks too. Thin mirror scars, burned red prison sigils, deep claw lines from star bone things that no longer existed. This place had been fought over again and again. Not once. Not by one generation. The tower was a history of refusals. Halfway to the outer ring, the first false Lin Junyue appeared. He stood in military armor, one hand resting on an ash blade, face lined with fatigue. For one heartbeat, Lin Jin almost believed. Then he saw the eyes. Too clean. His father, if still alive after 20 years of chains, would not have clean eyes. The false Lin Junyue looked at Xiaomin. Come here. She did not move. Lin Jin stepped forward. Wrong. The false father frowned. What is wrong? He would never call her first. The illusion twitched. Lin Jin cut its throat. Ash spilled out instead of blood. Qin Yu glanced at him. You are sure? Lin Jin said. If my father saw us here, the first thing he would do is scold me. Yu Baishuang nodded. Accurate. The second false father came as a wounded man asking for help. Shen Qing burned it before it finished speaking. The third came as a memory of a father holding a small child. Xiaomin cried at that one. But she still asked, Who are you? The memory smiled too slowly. Lin Jin cut it apart. Each false father carried a fragment of real pain. Each one tried to make them answer before judging. Each one proved that the tower's defenses understood them too well. At the outer ring, red prison fire returned. This time it did not descend from the sky. It rose from the ground. Lines of red flame formed a cage around the group. The fire shaped itself into old sentencing words. Unauthorized, unclean, unstable, contain. Lin Jin felt the words scraping at his fate realm. Red prison did not only burn bodies. It burned the right to explain. If white prison stole names, red prison judged names until nothing remained but guilt. The fire closed in. Chin Yu stepped forward with a grin that looked more painful than confident. I hate cages. His C-force erupted. The blue pressure did not extinguish the red fire. It parted it. A road opened through the cage. Narrow and unstable. Shen Qing moved into the opening and lifted her hand. Lightning struck the edges of the road, pinning them in place. Go. Lin Jin looked at her. Together. Then move faster. They ran. The tower's first gate stood ahead. Made of black metal and bone-white script. At its center was a lock shaped like a broken star. Ji Yuxing shouted through the seal. Do not touch the lock. It is reading fate signatures. Too late. The gate read them the moment they came close. Lin Jin. Lin Xiaoman. Ash Blade. Keyhole. White prison ship. Unregistered lineage. The gate opened. That was worse than staying shut. Behind it stood Lin Junyue. The real one. Lin Jin knew immediately. Not because of the face. The face was thinner, older, and marked by too many years of pain. Not because of the armor. It was broken. Not because of the chains. They were everywhere. He knew because his father's first words were exactly what Lin Jin expected. Who told you to come here like this? Lin Jin's throat tightened. For a moment, the apocalypse, the prisons, the Star Masters, the royal court, and all the deaths between them fell away. He was only a son standing in front of a father who was still alive. No one, Lin Jin said. Lin Junyu's eyes sharpened. Then you came without orders. Yes. Reckless. Yes. Stupid. Probably. Lin Junyue stared at him for one breath. Then his gaze moved to Xiaoman. The commander's hardness broke. Only a little. Enough. Xiaoman. She covered her mouth. Dad. The chains around Lin Junyue tightened before he could take one step. Red fire crawled over the links. The tower groaned. Yu Baishuang's voice cut through the moment. Do not touch him. Lin Jin had already seen it. The third chain was connected to the border seal. If they broke it by force, they might free Lin Junyue and release the thing he had held closed for 20 years. Lin Junyue looked at his son. You see it? Yes. Good. Then do not be foolish. Lin Jin almost laughed. You are asking a lot. For the first time, Lin Junyu's mouth moved as if he wanted to smile. The tower shook again. Something below it woke. A pressure rose through the floor. Vast and patient. The formless second tone sounded from beneath the stone. The broken star lock behind them began to close. Lin Junyu's voice became cold. Listen carefully. The third chain cannot be cut from outside. Lin Jin's hand tightened on the blade. Then from where? From the place it is protecting. No one spoke. Lin Junyue continued. Your mother found half of the answer. The white prison ship is the road. Xiaoman is not the key. She is the choice that prevents the road from becoming a prison. Xiaoman's eyes filled with tears. But she listened. And Lin Jin? Lin Junyue looked at him. He is the blade that must learn when not to cut. The tower cracked. Red fire surged. The broken star lock behind them opened again. Not as a door out, but as a mouth pulling them deeper. Lin Jin stepped toward his father. We are not leaving you. You are, Lin Junyue said. No. The old commander looked at him with the full weight of 20 years. Then answer me this. If freeing me opens the border and kills Xiaoman, will you still cut? Lin Jin could not speak. That silence was the answer. Lin Junyue nodded. Good. The third chain rang once. A fragment broke from it, small as a finger bone, and flew toward Lin Jin. It did not release the chain. It gave him a map. Not a place. A direction. The place behind the border. The real source. Lin Junyue turned to Xiaoman. Do not answer voices that use my pain. She nodded through tears. I won't. And do not let your brother decide everything alone. Lin Jin closed his eyes. Even chained, even half destroyed, his father still knew exactly where to strike. The tower began to reject them. Yu Baishuang opened bone chains around the group. Shen Qing called lightning. Qin Yu forced open the path back. Ji Yuxing screamed coordinates through the seal as the white prison ship pulled toward them. Lin Jin looked at his father one last time. Lin Junyue did not say goodbye. He only said, "Get stronger." Then the tower threw them out. They landed on the deck of the white prison ship as the gray river convulsed beneath them. The third chain fragment burned in Lin Jin's hand without heat. They had not saved Lin Junyue, but they had found the direction of the true cut. And in the tower behind them, Lin Junyue tightened his grip on the chain and held the border closed a little longer. Su Wanning appeared 3 hours after they returned. Not in the hospital. Not through a dream. She appeared in the white prison ship's reflection on the gray river, standing on the deck as if she had been there all along. Lin Jin raised his blade before anyone could speak. Xiaoman stepped forward, then stopped herself. Who are you? She asked. The woman smiled. It hurt exactly because it did not try too hard. A relay, she said. Yu Baishuang's expression changed. Not a fake. Lin Jin did not lower the blade. Mirror Fate sight opened in focus mode. Pain flared through his eye. But he held it. The figure before them was not Su Wanning herself. It was a protected echo, built from the name fragments they had recovered, the white prison ship's memory, and a seal that had waited for Lin Junyu's chain fragment. Not a return. A message that could finally arrive. Su Wanning's echo looked at Xiaoman first. You grew up. Xiaoman's mouth trembled. Are you my mother? I am what your mother could leave behind. That was cruelly honest, and because it was honest, Xiaoman cried. Lin Jin stood beside her, blade still raised but hand shaking. The echo turned to him. You look like your father when you refused to sleep. Lin Jin almost broke. Almost. What is the third chain? He asked. Su Wanning's echo nodded, as if she had expected him to choose the wound over the comfort. A boundary lock. The white prison ship darkened. Around them, images appeared in the gray air. The old royal court, the first door, the thing beneath the border. It had no shape that the mind could keep. It was not a monster, not a god, not a star master. It was an absence that learned from every name it touched. The royal court had not defeated it. They had only layered systems over it. White prison to steal and store dangerous names. Red prison to burn judged names. Star law to classify the remains. And finally, chains to hold the border shut when those systems began to fail. Lin Junyue had become the living anchor of the third chain. Su Wanning had built the white prison ship so that one day, the chain could be released without opening the thing beneath it. But the ship had one fatal risk. If the keyhole was treated as a tool, the ship would become a prison. If the blade cut without understanding, the border would open. If the name fragments were answered too early, the formless thing would gain a path into the living world. That was why the rule existed. Do not answer. Not forever. Until the answer could no longer be stolen. The next entry was not called a rescue mission. Lin Jin refused the word. It was a relay. They would carry Su Wanning's protected echo, Lin Junyu's chain fragment, the formless name shards, and Xiaoman's chosen keyhole into the border behind the tower. They would not break the third chain from outside. They would complete the lock from within. Central authority tried to stop them. Fang Si called it unauthorized escalation. Zhao Minjung warned that resource channels would close again. Bai Shuyuan smiled and asked whether Lin Jin understood the political cost. Lin Jin answered with the calm of someone who had finally stopped asking permission from cages. Send the report after we leave. Chen Beishuan said nothing. He only opened the 9th Safe Zone's defensive authority and let them pass. The white prison ship sailed for the final route. This time, the Grey River did not resist. It watched. Xiaomin stood at the bow. Su Wanning's echo stood behind her. Lin Jin stood at her side. Shen Qing and Qin Yu anchored the route. Yu Baishuang held the white bone seat open like a crown of pale chains. Ji Yuxing monitored every fluctuation until the numbers stopped making sense. The chain tower rose ahead. Lin Junyue did not call out. He knew the rule. The ship passed through the tower's shadow and entered the place behind the border. There was no sky there. No ground. Only countless unfinished names floating in darkness. Some belonged to the dead. Some belonged to those not yet born. Some belonged to people who had been erased so completely that only the shape of loss remained. The formless thing moved among them. It did not attack. It listened. That was worse. Xiaomin's keyhole mark opened halfway. Not fully. Halfway. Enough to choose. The formless thing reached for her with voices. Mother. Father. Brother. Home. Pain. Safety. Lin Jin wanted to cut them all. He did not. He stood still, blade lowered, and let Xiaomin choose the real thread. She lifted one hand. This is not home. The voices shuddered. Su Wanning's echo placed both hands over Xiaomin's shoulders. Good. Lin Junyu's chain fragment rose from Lin Jin's palm. The fragment became a dark line leading back to the third chain. The name shards they had recovered circled it. The white prison ship's deck split open into white light. Yu Baishuang gasped. It is asking for a name. Everyone froze. The old rule returned. Do not answer. But Su Wanning's echo shook her head. Not a stolen name. A given one. Lin Jin understood. The formless thing stole names because the systems above it had turned names into locks. Judgments. And fuel. The counter lock could not be built from theft. It had to be built from consent. Xiaomin looked at Lin Jin. He did not tell her what to do. That was the hardest thing he had done in all 3 seasons of war. She turned to the ship. I am Lin Xiaomin, she said. I give my name only to close this door. Not to White Prison. Not to Red Prison. Not to the Royal Court. Not to the Star Masters. To myself. The half-open keyhole blazed. The white prison ship answered. Lin Jin stepped forward. I am Lin Jin, he said. I give my blade to cut only the path that steals. Not the people I love. Not the pain that proves they lived. His ash blade turned white at the edge. Shen Qing spoke next. I am Shen Qing. I give lightning to mark the way back. Qin Yu followed. I am Qin Yu. I give the sea to keep the road open. Yu Baishuang smiled faintly. I am Yu Baishuang. I give bone to remember what prisons tried to bury. One by one, their names became anchors. Not chains. Anchors. The formless thing recoiled as the difference became real. Lin Junyu's third chain appeared in the darkness above them. It was whole, heavy, and exhausted. At its center, Lin Junyue stood like a man holding up the end of a world. Su Wanning's echo looked at him. For the first time, he answered, Wanning. The name did not get stolen. Because this time, it was protected by everyone who had chosen to stand there. Lin Jin raised his blade. He did not cut the chain. He cut the theft inside the chain. The ash-white edge passed through darkness. Through star law residue. Through red prison judgment. Through white prison ownership. Through every hand that had tried to turn sacrifice into property. The third chain cracked. Not into failure. Into release. Lin Junyue fell. Qin Yu's sea caught the root. Shen Qingyi's lightning marked the return. Xiaomin's half-open keyhole closed the border behind them. Su Wanning's echo began to fade. Xiaomin turned, panicked. Mom? The echo smiled through tears. Not goodbye. Relay. Lin Jin wanted to speak, but no words were large enough. Su Wanning looked at him one last time. You learned not to cut everything. Then the echo dissolved into white light and entered the ship. The white prison ship turned. The gray river returned. The border behind them closed with a sound like a breath finally released after 20 years. They emerged outside the 9th safe zone at dawn. The southern wall was still scarred. The sky was still gray-blue. The world was not healed. But Lin Junyue was alive. He woke in the first hospital with 3 layers of seals, 12 medical officers, and Lin Xiaomin asleep beside his bed with one hand gripping his sleeve. Lin Jin stood by the window. His father opened one eye. You look terrible. Lin Jin exhaled. You too. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Lin Junyue said, Good work. Lin Jin turned away before his face could betray him. Outside the hospital, the first restored supply convoys entered the 9th safe zone. Central authority could no longer deny the value of the route. The review court could no longer bury White Prison's crimes. The Star Law residue had been recorded, named, and exposed. None of that meant the war was over. Far beyond the safe zones, star tides still moved. The old systems still existed. The royal court's shadow had not vanished. But the first door behind the border had been closed by choice, not imprisonment. And that changed everything. That night, Lin Jin stood on the roof of the hospital. Xiaomin joined him with 2 cups of warm recovery drink. He took one sip and frowned. Still terrible. She smiled. Still works. They looked over the city. For the first time in a long time, the silence above the 9th safe zone did not feel like a warning. It felt like room to breathe. Somewhere inside the white prison ship, a wooden bird tapped the deck once. Not a call, not a command, a reminder. The road was still there. But now, when the road opened again, it would open because they chose it.